Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here, back again with Hunt Hunter. We are on episode 102, and yes, in the last episode it turns out that my microphone was like blown out quite a bit, which I don't know why that is, because I never change any of the settings on it. So I've dialed back the I guess the volume on it, so it shouldn't be as blown out. But you know, basically I don't have time to sort of like test and fiddle around with stuff right now, so I've just dialed it back. If I look back at this episode afterwards and see if the microphone quality is still shit, then well, it looks like I'm going to have to get a new microphone because this one is screwed. but yeah, so hopefully this should be more bearable. Apologies for that last episode, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can only react to something once, so unfortunately that's just the way it's going to have to be. But anyway, yeah, so in the last episode it might as well have been an OVA if it didn't have some of the main story stuff like within the background and whatever. But it was a great episode anyway. I loved it. Akalgo was fantastic. I love him. And Killua got absolutely decimated. But it's alright, because Akalgo, our new favourite octopus dude, is saving his life and taking him to some kind of secret doctor to save him. So yeah, that's great. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really else to talk about. So yeah, we're just going to get straight into episode 102 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 102. Okay, right. Well, straight back into it. I completely, like, my reaction to the whole Peggy thing, I was completely lost on until he had to explain it. Because I was just thinking, like, when he was like, he's the one who raised me, I completely just disregarded, like, the whole thing of, like, what they were before and being humans beforehand. I completely disregarded that from my mind. You know, because I guess I kind of sort of gave up on it, I suppose. I kind of just forgot about it, I suppose, because it hasn't really been brought up for a while. I guess since Cold, I guess, but yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I guess that puts him at the top of the list for like the most sort of the one who has access most to their past life, and it makes sense, I suppose, why there's like that team up now. But yeah, he also talked about that as well, like the when a couple episodes ago, when I'm just gonna call him Mello because that's gonna be like easier, isn't it? So when Mello like was asking to team up with Gon, and I was like, but wait a minute, didn't he say like when Gon was together with Killua that he was trying to find the weaker one and stuff? So on that note, I was like, well, you can't trust him then, because you know what I mean. He's clearly just trying to get close to you and whatnot, and then take you out then. But he was talking about how as soon as he saw Gon's Jajan Ken, that was where his mind had been changed, and obviously he needs to team up with him and then use his third power alongside, like, with Gon, to be completely like unperceivable. Which, I mean, that's crazy. It makes sense why the limit of, you know, like why the power is sort of limited to it's only really going to work when nobody else knows the power exists, because you know the fact is that otherwise it's like a really overpowered sort of ability to have, not like being able to be, you know, not perceived by anybody. But that being said, like, it's still, like, even though like people might know about it, that doesn't necessarily mean it's useless once people know about it, you know? Because you would just put the element of doubt in people's minds that, you know, don't make an enemy of him because he can attack at any moment, and you would never know about it. It's not like they can just keep, like, you know, attacking forever, you know what I mean? Because the idea is that you go invisible and you're unperceivable completely. Like, it's like you're not. It's like there's nothing even there. So, I mean, it wouldn't be completely useless if you know, if they didn't know about it. But the fact is that it's clear that using, like, Gun would be able to use Jar Jar and Ken and charge it up whilst in that, you know, in that unperceivable mode, which is going to be crazy. And that's the thing as well. Is like I'm so fucking hell. I'm so confused as to what is about to happen because, well, first of all, he called Knuckle up because he said that there was somebody better that it would work with that was better. Now I don't know why Knuckle would be the better one to use, like to use alongside Mello. Because I was just thinking, well, wait a minute, what does Knuckle do? Well, he has that tax thing. So yeah, I mean that would be good to sort of use on the king, but would that really be the best use of a first sort of sneak attack? I'm trying to remember like the sort of conditions for activating the fucking tax thing as well. Shit, why can't I fucking remember? Because that would be that kind of would be invaluable, like an invaluable thing, the tax thing. But I would assume that the idea is to take him out in one hit. Like that's the point, right? So surely the Jar Jar and Ken would be better, unless Knuckle has some ability that is better in one hit. You know, I mean, fuck it, give it to Netero. Netero's got to have something up his fucking sleeve. I mean, look at what he's doing. He's going nuts right now. But also the fact that, you know, Knuckle was talking about how Morel and Morel surrounded the capital, and Nova's helping as well. But the problem is because they're focusing too much on this, that they're not going to be there to fight Shia Poof, right? Who's the one that they were supposed to fight. And that's the thing as well. The narrator basically said that these fights were set up to be this way. So, is that fight just not going to happen with them then? If that's the case, then who's going to go up against Shia? He's talking about like how getting reinforcements in. I'm trying to think like who would be. I don't think there is anyone really. Unless you get, I don't know, Wing and well, I don't think Wing would be a good. I haven't really seen Wing do anything. I mean, I'm sure he would be able to do something, but I don't know. I don't know if he's. Well, I haven't really seen him go all out, so I don't know really where he would be on the power scale. Bisky, maybe. Speaking of which, you could actually when the shogi, no, yeah, was it? Yeah, it was the shogi master, right? That came in. Somebody came in. Anyway, the dude that like had the black hair and the glasses. I was almost like, you can almost pass for like Nov or Wing, like from the back anyway. And then I suppose the girl that came in, you could probably like mistake for Bisky in a way if she dressed up and disguised a bit. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't know who. I mean, I would have loved nothing more than for Gon to be like, reinforcements, who should we bring in? No, let's get Ahsoka in here. Then I would just be like, yeah, I would love that, but I don't know. I mean, depending on if you can get them split up, the Royal Guards, then theoretically you should be able to use the perfect plan thing with Gon more than once. Because if you can take them out in one hit, then it's an easy dispatch of one of them. And nobody else, like none of the other Royal Guards or the King would be any wiser as to what happened, meaning that you could just use it again. So I don't know. I mean, Malerion did have like a sort of smirk on his face after learning that, you know, after like the phone call and everything. So I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. I'm more fucking like just in a state of distrust against the narrator now, because see, the problem is that when he says something, I'm like, oh well, that's it then. It's set up. This is what's happening, because he's the narrator. He's not an actual character. You know what I mean? He's literally telling the story as to how it's supposed to be, like what is happening, and he set up these fights. So if Morel and Nov doesn't go up against Shire, then what the fuck? Then what was the point? You know? Ah, jeez. I wouldn't care as well that the perfect plan thing about going unperceived from that. I wouldn't care, because the other, like a few episodes back, I was talking about how, like if Mello and Goon were to team up, then there could be a thing where Mello could use his invisibility to go into the meat plantation and do something. But then I basically said straight after, it's like, oh, but wait, don't the Chimera ants actually, aren't they sort of like aware of like their own kind's presence? So that invisibility would be practically like pointless. And then a couple episodes later, and he's basically got this ability that makes him go completely unperceived. You know, it's how the universe works. But yeah, he wants to kill the king because of revenge, because like for killing Peggy. And yeah, it makes sense why Peggy was the sort of the researcher of the group, and you know, with all the books and things like that, because that's what he was like beforehand, being Mello's sort of foster father in the previous life. Which makes me, I don't know, like, I suppose that doesn't really narrow down like Mello as like a kid beforehand. Like he may have just been an older guy who had a foster father when he, like, you know, like when he was a child and stuff. But yeah, I guess they would have been like sort of birthed as Chimera ants at like the same time, possibly, if they were taken out roughly at the same time. I don't know. Not that it really matters if beforehand Mello was a kid or not anyway, because so was Cold, and they kind of, I guess they kind of like mature when they're like sort of rebirthed, so I guess it doesn't really matter. So yeah, and then basically the last thing to talk about is the Meruems basically just playing games to be the best in the world. During the reaction, I was like, wait a minute, like I was trying to think, like, wait a minute, what's the point of this part of the story? Like the king playing games with people, you know, to as sort of competition, until he talked at the very end and he was like, so if I beat this person at I guess Gunji or Gungi, whatever that, I don't know if that's a made up game, because it said that it was founded sort of or created within East Goto, but I don't know if that's an actual game within real life. It could be, and then just, you know, repurposed into the show, because I know Go and Shogi and chess all are like our games, like we made those. But he was saying that, you know, if I was to beat this this person at this game, that would mean like I'd be like sort of like the undisputed best in the world kind of thing. So that's what he's, I guess that's what he has gained this sort of thing about being the best in the world. Whereas beforehand, I didn't really peg him as somebody who really cared. I was actually surprised when he was just sitting down, like, you know, like learning all this stuff, because I was like, what, is he even interested in this? I thought his whole thing was about just sort of finding like the best food source, and that's what all he really cared about. But I don't know. I guess apparently he's. Well, I guess it's pretty boring just sitting around waiting for shit to happen. So I guess he had to do something to sort of, you know, to pass the time. But I don't know. I think this girl's possibly has his number, and is probably going to beat him. It's going to be interesting to see how he reacts if that is the case. Now the narrator, I was just talking about distrust before, so I don't even know whether to just take this as just, oh, whatever, the narrator's talking shit again. But it says that it would change the king's life, or the way the king would possibly think about stuff in the future. It's it's going to be interesting. I don't know if the girl's blind. It looks like she might be. When she was just a silhouette, I was like, oh, it's a walking stick, old woman. But then coming in, she looks younger, and I think that's I think she may be blind, but yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if she knows Nen, because if she's blind, how is she able to determine what moves to make? You know, I don't know, but yeah, I mean. I don't know where the fuck we go from here. I don't know if the next episode is just going to be the game with the little girl and the king, or if we're going to get like any sort of further with setting up the fights and whatnot. Because it seems like, I mean, Knuckle was saying that the plan had to be changed, and I don't really know what Morel and Nov's sort of the extended plan happens. By surrounding the capital, of course, it cuts off the whole thing of, like, the puppets and whatnot. But I was thinking the idea was the only way to get the royal guards to split up would be to cut off the puppeteer and things. But they were just saying there that they're not going to be in a state to fight a royal guard, so I wouldn't imagine that is what would happen. I guess it's just by changing up the plan, like, that is basically Morel and Nov's thing now. They're just keeping that from happening. I mean, that's good. It stops more deaths and everything like that, but fuck, they become useless to the fights anyway. So yeah, I don't know if Gon and Mello just go after a royal guard and then, like, well, see, that's the thing, is like, I guess it all depends on the Netero versus the King fight, what ends up happening from there. It's the thing, like, I don't really want to look too far, like, forward into it, because I just feel like this show doesn't necessarily go the way that you think it might, so it might just never end up happening. Who the fuck knows? Maybe Netero becomes so overpowered, thinking he's going to fight the king, but then ends up having to fight just a royal guard, and he absolutely decimates the royal guard. You know, who fucking knows? But yeah, I mean, that's basically all I've got on this episode. So yeah, so we've got some buddies, some Chimera and buddies. I didn't think that was really gonna be the case. I especially with Mello, but like he said, it was something that had only he changed his mind sort of later on. So I guess that's that. But I like Calgo, and I hope he sticks around because I like him. But yeah, that's all I got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I've linked to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you want to. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you don't want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier for $5 a month. That gives you access to shows a week early, and you get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week. That is 2 on Monday and 2 on Friday, as opposed to the YouTube general public that only get 2 episodes a week on Monday. So yeah, by the time this episode comes out on YouTube for the general public, you can go over, become an early access tier patron, and you can have access to the rest of the show in reactions, like all the way up until the show ends. So if you can binge watch the rest of the show within a month, it's only going to cost you $5 to watch the rest of the show, which is a pretty good deal. There is also a full length tier there for $10 a month. That doesn't matter for this show, but for other shows you will need that. And there are other tiers where you can pay to have certain shows reacted to. So if you want me to react to a show, then go have a look at those tiers and see what they offer. But that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.